The correct answer to this quiz is option C. It's okay if you didn't get the answer though, because it was covering topics that we haven't learned about yet. At a high level, I will quickly go through why each option was correct or incorrect, but we'll learn more about all these terms in the following videos. Let's look at our three options here and look for differences between them. First, you may have noticed that the lines of code inside each method are the same. Right here, and right here. Also, the comment above each method is also the same, and the comment is just what describes what the method does. And the method is supposed to calculate the price of the order based on the quantity. Another similarity is that they all start with the word private. We don't know what that means yet, but that's okay. The next word here is int. It doesn't say int though in option B, but it does say int in option C. So for some reason it's different here. Let's move on to the next part. Here it says calculate price, and it's two words. In option B, calculate price is smushed together as a single word in camel case. In option C, it's also in camel case with no spaces. Then moving along, we see an opening parentheses and then int quantity. There's no closing parentheses though, which is a little weird. In option B, we also see opening and closing parentheses and int quantity. In option C, we see opening, closing parentheses, and int quantity. Then we see there's an opening brace here and a closing brace, but not in option B, and they do show up in option C though. So we notice a bunch of differences among the different options. Let's look at an example of what a valid method should be by doing a Google search. So I'm going to open up a browser and then search for define Java method. You could have searched for a different query and that would have worked as well. This first link looks good. It's from the official Oracle documentation on Java, so I'm going to click on it. If you haven't seen this page before, feel free to pause the video now and click on the link in the instructor notes to skim through this page. While this doesn't match our code exactly, you could try to pattern match the components of this method declaration with our code. This other sentence here is helpful. It talks about how the required elements of a method declaration are the method's return type, name, pair of parentheses, and a body between these braces. Now, I just mentioned a lot of new words, and you can read about them below, but we'll talk about them in more detail later. Let's try to use this information here to help us narrow down our options. If we compare this option with the proper method declaration on the documentation page, this option is actually incorrect. There's an opening parentheses here, but there's no closing parentheses. And in the documentation, it says that we need a complete pair of parentheses, like right here and right here. The documentation also says that a method name has to follow the same rules as the naming for fields or variables. And that means we need to use camel case and not have any spaces in the name. So this name right here is invalid. So it's not option A. Let's go on to option B. Here, we're missing the opening and closing braces, which the documentation said were required. Option B is also missing the method's return type, which is supposed to come before the method name. So right here, we should have the word int because we want to return the price as the output of this method. So option B is also incorrect for two reasons, so let's hope that option C is better. Here we have a return data type, which is correct, and then we have a method name that is correctly spelled in camel case. We also have an opening and a closing parentheses, as well as an opening and closing braces. So this one looks really good. Option C has all the required parts of a method. Let's talk more about this next.